I'm just trying. I'll just mute myself for now. Okay.
Now, make me the co-host.
Oh, okay. I'll put you in the waiting room.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We are live on YouTube. I'll go on mute now.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, Aisha.
Walaikum assalam, Sister Nasreen. Alhamdulillah, on time.
On time, alhamdulillah, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so then we'll start, and because your sister's waiting in the meeting room, so we'll just get them in, and then maybe just need to wait about 5 minutes to see how many are still joining in, and then we'll begin, inshallah.
Yeah, you will be introducing myself first, and then I can start my talking discussion, right?
Yeah, I will first introduce like a bit brief, 1 or 2 minutes for.
Assalamu alaikum, Aisha.
Walaikum assalam.
Walaikum assalam, Sister Nasreen. Alhamdulillah, on time.
Yeah, so what I will do is there's Sister Salma as well. She'll be moderating the questions and the whole of the session while I'm away. I'll be on mute because my daughter might just make a lot of noise. So then we'll just, I will be on mute and she'll moderate the whole show and for any question and answers also. And just for 1 or 2 minutes, I will in the beginning introduce introduce Psycho Holistic, and then I'll give over to you.
Is Sister Nasreen there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still here. Don't worry. How are you?
Good, Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahma. How are you?
Good, Alhamdulillah. How about you, sister?
Alhamdulillah. I just finished first live. This is second live.
Yeah, Aisha told me.
Thank you.
Aisha, you can make Sister Nasreen as the co-host, so then she can share the screen, inshallah.
Then 1 second. If I need to share the screen, I need to have my PowerPoint on the mobile itself. Or can I open YouTube on the laptop?
Have to have it on laptop because in the mobile, then I think the screen would be.
The only thing, if I need to, should I have the Zoom? You mean the Zoom on the laptop, and I can share the screen on Zoom, and then you're broadcasting, right? So I'll put my Zoom. I'll just put the Zoom on 1 second. Anyway, Zoom meeting. Okay, and let me just put the account, join meetings. I'll just put the join meeting. Can I just leave for a second? Or no, anyway, I can use the WhatsApp. 1 second. Join meeting, personal ID, 555, 3. Okay, it's just downloading very fast, and then we can have my Zoom on. Can you hear me, sister?
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I'll just wait for that. Anyway, my PowerPoint is ready. It's just want to. Okay. Okay, meeting password. Okay, I'm in. I'll close my mobile now because there will be echo.
Aisha, make Sister Nasreen the co-host, inshallah.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay. So once you give me the admin level, I will share this PowerPoint now.
Yeah. Aisha is going to.
Yeah, great.
Okay, you're the co-host now, Sister Nasreen.
Inshallah. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Okay.
Oops, where did Aisha go?
You just let me know when to start. I think we have 3 people and waiting in the room.
Yeah. Aisha has left. She has to come
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
I'll just get some water. I'm still online, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Assalamu alaikum. Can I start now or can I wait?
Aisha is coming. She said she's just joining in 2 minutes, inshallah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Are we live on YouTube or not yet?
We are live on YouTube.
Yeah.
She needs to come back and start again because she disconnected. Not sure.
It's okay. I don't mind. No problem. Because I have to wait for her, but I just need to settle myself as well. And there, okay?
Yeah. She's coming. She's joined in.
Yep.
Aisha?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, Salam. Aisha, is it live on YouTube?
Yes, it's live on YouTube.
Okay. All right. So, shall we start?
Yes, 1 minute. Get in all the participants and then we'll start.
Okay, it's recorded. It's on live on YouTube. And shall we start admitting everyone?
Yeah, I think, let me just check the YouTube live link. Yeah, start.
Okay, for the question answer, should we unmute them and let them talk, or they chat on, they ask their
Yeah,
question in the chat box?
I think we can allow them to come in and ask.
Okay, inshallah.
We can get them in it.
Okay, inshallah. I'm going mute, yeah? Sister Nasreen, you're ready, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool.
How I can?
I'm admitting all the guests, inshallah.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. Can you all hear me properly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. We'll begin now. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and we welcome you to this World Breastfeeding Support World Breastfeeding Week 2020 by WABA. It's an organization that has a lot of non-profit initiatives worldwide and international for supporting breastfeeding for mothers. So first, I would just like to briefly introduce I Go Holistic, and then I'll go over to introducing Sister Nisreen, and then we'll start our session, inshallah. We focus on natural healing by creating awareness through evidence-based practice. Our organization's strength lies in working with principles and flexibility. We ensure the best and most suitable form of holistic approach that has no side effects, no extravagance or whatsoever. We want our users to experience the purity in its best form, where our sources are rooted to their original and truest evidence. We want to bring forth the innate nature of the mind, body, and soul in helping them function naturally by taking them into consideration all their history and their present and current situation in their all aspects of life. Whatsoever. We want our users to experience the purity. Our values are having roots from Adam alayhi salam, the oldest time in history where no technology prevailed. Our main inspiration is from the Revelation Quran and the Sunnah, which is applicable even in today's times and beyond. We work with principles and adapt our way through, keeping our values in check periodically. We critically analyze our approach to maintain the balance of laws of the world and beyond. So why do we think that we need to go holistic? Mainly because affordability is a major concern for organic products, which we want to in the future provide for all of you. People lack knowledge about natural living and often underestimate its benefits, and we are used to the easy way out. So through iGo Holistic, we help you gain an insight into the more functional and organic approach to make your lifestyle in a healthier manner. Women's health is one of the biggest concerns in UAE. As the rate of infertility, obesity is increasing, the hospital costs are hitting the roof. Prevention works only about with 5% of the population, and cure is only available in the form of stacking bills. We need to make holistic is the way that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he practiced healthy eating, healthy communication, healthy mindset, and having healthy relationships with his family and community as a whole. So this is a brief introduction of I Go Holistic, and then I would like to introduce Sister Nisreen as well, and we start with the session, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters. This is Nisreen Nimmer, lactation specialist, childbirth educator, and a certified trainer. Thank you, Sister Aisha and Sister Salma, for hosting this live session through YouTube. I would love to really to give all the regards to their support through Mother holistic way of thinking and holistic way of teaching mothers how to seek the natural resources and natural support for dealing with their I'm sorry, I think someone was unmuted by mistake. Okay, I'll just have to repeat this again. Sorry, I was unmuted by mistake. Anyhow, I was just introducing again that every mother should really understand the holistic way of living and how to get the natural way of thinking, getting herself through pregnancy or breastfeeding. So everyone through their life, they need to really think of how to avoid the let's say the industry area pollutions or industry area pressures, or let's say the medications or medicalized hospitals. So everyone needs to think of how to start in a natural way and also safe way to have a healthy life, inshallah, saved with a good start. So as I said, I will be talking about baby friendly. What is a baby friendly, and also what is the new revised baby friendly protocols? Because if you are able to understand what is baby friendly, your priority is to think of searching about a baby friendly or a mother friendly hospital to have the right and best start in pregnancy, and also the best start in breastfeeding. So we will really need to know what is the definitions of baby-friendly hospitals and how could really these really affect you in the in your status and in your community support. Basically, in developed countries, we might have some of the countries that they have really this quality standard in hospitals, like the GCIA standard, and also we have something similar to the GCIA, which is a quality standard for hospitals to be accredited as a very good and clean clean and supportive hospitals, we have something called a baby-friendly hospital initiatives, where these rules, regulations, or policies are set up to help mothers to have the right and chance, or the right start with dealing with nutrition or baby feeding practices. So mainly in the baby-friendly hospitals, to be able to be recognized as baby-friendly hospitals, you need to have 10 steps. To pass these 10 steps, and the culture itself in the hospital will allow you to be supportive to the mothers and the community and the babies itself. So basically you need to have 10 steps, and we will read out the 10 steps in fast, and we will get in details of each step later on in the coming slides. So the first is to have a written policy for the community or itself for the hospital, and the healthcare attendee will have to also routinely know these communicate these policies, plus that the mother or a parent or a family members should attend to this hospital. They should know about this routine hospital and the culture of baby friendly and what does it really support. We need also to train the healthcare workers to deal with mothers who have difficulties with breastfeeding, and to allow them to know about breastfeeding itself. And also we need to initiate breastfeeding soon after delivery. We need to teach the mothers on how to put the baby to the breast. We also have the chance that to introduce only naturally breastfeeding in these hospitals. We don't allow mothers to have give the baby any food or drinks or anything unless it is medically indicated, which is a medication itself, not herbal treatment or not even artificial milk. And even though for medical cases, sometimes you need to have an artificial milk under a medical concern, then it's going to be written and signed by the parents or a husband that it is a medical condition. And also it's very important to know about rooming in. The mother should be allowed to have rooming in with the baby soon after delivery until discharge, and encouraging breastfeeding on demand. Give no teats or pacifiers or dummies, something to soothe the baby and keep them quiet, which is a routine in many cultures. They used to give this to the babies. And also establish breastfeeding support groups, which is very important to understand. Step number 10 is to help the mothers to seek support from the community supporters, such as breastfeeding friends in UAE and Sharjah. We have so many similar to them. We have so many childbirth educators, doulas, and lactation consultants and peer counselors who are in UAE giving their support groups and meetings. If you are listening to us from outside the country, please search and Google in your own country what is a baby friendly, or where is the nearest baby friendly, or even a lactation support, a breastfeeding support, or a childbirth educator or a doula, because all these people can help you to start very safe and also support you towards the natural breastfeeding. For the new updated baby-friendly hospitals, the revised one, what they found, it's about the complying with the code. It's very important. It's a nice, interesting topic. If you want to listen to it later, we can have a separate session about what is the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes, where is to avoid any marketing, which again goes with the IGO holistic approach. You shouldn't get the chance for these people to market artificial milk or artificial food because this will mislead the mothers, knowledge, and also will direct her attention toward these marketing practices rather than thinking of a natural breastfeeding and how to solve or even get help to solve the problems with breastfeeding. So mainly most of the mothers will have challenges, and what they will do, they will just think about taking a bottle feed if she faces any problem, rather than seeking help from a natural way or a natural way of dealing with that. So it's very important to have a policy in the hospital. And again, it's very important to discuss this in the management team, and they have a routinely in the hospitals that they have to update and reevaluate the process and the culture, and ask the healthcare workers if they are familiar with that and how to do that. Again, in the baby friendly, the new updated one, the same 10 steps are there. However, they are more detailed in to be more practical in the clinical settings with the healthcare workers. Previously in the baby-friendly initiative, the previous approaches, where everything were used to be sent to the lactation nurse or lactation consultant if there's a clinic. And even though when we train the nurses and doctors and healthcare workers with the knowledge about breastfeeding, they still send all these difficult cases to the lactation. Now with the revised, updated Baby Friendly 2018, everyone who deals with mother in the maternity and pediatric section will be confident to teach and help, and also support the mothers whatever the challenge is there. And you will see the competencies in the coming slide. What are the competencies for that? So facilitate also skin to skin, again, which is very important, and also discuss with the pregnant woman. Again, in the old Baby Friendly, they were talking about discussing the Baby Friendly with the mother itself as pregnant, but now they want the mother and the father and the whole family to be educated, because if she got the support, then she will be able to continue breastfeeding. And also maintain the initiation breastfeeding soon after delivery, and provide the babies with breast milk, and not to give any fluids or anything unless medically indicated. And also practice rooming in. Again, it's the same steps, so we can get back to the detailed slides. Is my voice clear so far before I go to the details? Sisters, can you hear my voice?
Yes, it's clear, inshallah.
Thank you. Okay, so again, what they said, the baby friendly, the researchers and evidence found that the 10 steps, if they were really set up in a hospital, and the criteria of being a baby friendly, a systematic review, which means that the collecting of many big researchers and evidence researchers, they collected around 58 studies on the maternity and newborn care, and it was recently published, which is only 3 or 4 years back, where they found that adherence to the 10 steps or the baby-friendly protocols will also impact the early initiation of breastfeeding and immediately after birth, and also will help the mothers exclusively to continue breastfeeding. The first few hours of life for the baby and mother is very important, because the more that she's really having that touch and early exposure to the baby will get the normal bacteria, normal flora to their bodies. Baby will be able to also give the liquid, which is, or the cheesy milky liquid on his body, touch to the mother, so he can still remember and smell this during his later days, because the first touch between the mother and baby allow these communication between the mother and baby, plus this fluid which covers the baby during pregnancy will be attached to the mother, and then the baby will be secured, and he can smell the mother, and he can remember the smell, and he can remember himself 9 months before that, so he will be more secured and more bonding to the mother, remembering that. Plus the early contact also will give her the chance to do the early breastfeeding, because the baby is really strong at these stages, and he can smell the colostrum, and he can really reach to the breast successfully, even with some difficulties sometimes with mother who had some breastfeeding, like inverted or flat. But again, the first touch will really impact, because the baby will be eager to latch later on. And also analysis was done recently that if you increase the rate of breastfeeding, it could really save 300 billion dollars or US dollars globally. So imagine this in a very countries, they want to save money. So breastfeeding itself can save money. And as we said, the breastfeeding week, this theme this year is support breastfeeding for a healthier planet. So if you are saving money, again, you are saving the resources in the community and the resources in the environment. So you're not spending so money on the factories, and you're not spending money on transporting for bottle feeds or pacifiers or cans. You're not spending also the money on these water resources that used to make this milk, or even to clean this milk, or even to restore all this factory measurement. So how much you're saving to the community and environment itself. So again, the core intent of the 10 steps is to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding. So if you're able to seek help with baby-friendly hospitals, that's the best priority. But again, I was just alive in another session with one of my sisters in another account. I was always teaching the mothers, if you can't get the chance to seek support with the baby-friendly hospitals during pregnancy or after, or maybe your country still lack of this support, they don't have these policies, try to search during pregnancy or after that for any community support which deals with breastfeeding, such as lactation consultants, lactation specialists, peer counselors, childbirth educators, or doulas. all these people will know and will help you to that support, I mean, the start or any difficulties. So you don't stuck with baby friendly. If you're able to get it as a priority on your agenda, yes, if you're able to pay for that, because even in some countries, they are unable to reach them geographically or even payment. Sometimes the hospital is not covered in the insurance package that you do. So it's not an issue as long as you are getting the support from us in the community. We are lucky to have Aisha and her team and so many sisters from the same culture. They are spreading a lots of awareness in your culture, which is very important to take care and search for them. Again, this is another picture about the hospital important policies, which is adopted from the WHO itself. Again, this is the policy. And they said, if you want to pass, I'll just read very fast to focus on the main parts with the clinically important to the mothers. You need to have, if you're going to have a criteria of baby friendly, they will be asking the healthcare workers. 80% of these healthcare workers should really know about the code of marketing and how to protect the mothers from the pressure of the marketing. And 80% of them, they should know about the policy and how it is routinely communicated and what is involved as well. For the indicators, again, it's very important that in these hospitals, they will ask you about the early initiation. So they will ask the mothers and the healthcare workers. They will question the mothers in this hospital. Did you really get an early in contact with the baby? How long did you get the contact for the duration? Or how early possible did you get the contact with the baby? So the investigators will ask healthcare workers and also the mothers itself. Staff competency, which is really interesting now. 80% of these professionals, they should know and they should be trained, and they got some in service education, which means trainings, topics dealing with breastfeeding or maternity, and that should be routinely also communicated, and also yearly should be refreshed with the team, which is really interesting. In 2018 revised, as I said before, the baby friendly initially was there and really supported the I mean, the baby friendly supported the increase of in mothers' rates of breastfeeding in countries. But what they found out 10 years back, as I said, because I was a nurse and a lactation consultant, and we should know also the pressure that we're facing in some countries. I don't know about others, but I'm talking about myself here. So what happens sometimes, because some hospitals, they think one lactation consultant is fair enough to deal with that. And WHO and WABA and the breastfeeding weeks and all these healthcare, agencies started to think about whatever the causes of not improving to the criteria that they're aimed. They found that the number of lactations is less compared to the community needs. Plus, even hospitals who are not really, let's say, paying for 2 to 3 lactations are thinking that one lactation is doing one is enough. So this rate of breastfeeding is less compared to a lactation team in another hospital where they have 3, 4, 5 lactations running 24 hours, you know, the routine. And also, as a lactation, I was a baby-friendly leader. You can imagine the pressure of being a lactation alone in one of the private hospitals, that I should teach mothers, I should also help mothers, I should deal with the difficulties, I should accept the referrals from mothers who are coming outside from my own hospitals. I cannot ignore to help them. I can also answer, I should really be answering also the telephone numbers of the mothers. I should do the daily statistics. I should do the education, I should attend the meetings, I should do these teachings for the nurses. So who can really imagine that full attention on this lactations? And that's why the hospitals really need to think of increasing the number of lactations and value the really needs of this lactation. It's not just talking to a mother, and it's not just keeping the mother to the baby and the breast, the baby to the breast, I mean. Sometimes cases with a lactation consultant spends 10 minutes or sometimes 5. Majority actually with my clinical experience spends 30 to 45 minutes. So imagine if you have 5 mothers and count your daily shift duties, and you still didn't do anything else from the list which I have listed. So later on, the baby friendly initiatives, protocols, they wanted to put the support also to the healthcare workers. Healthcare workers were trained theoretically in the old baby friendly. Now healthcare workers in the new baby friendly should really do more like as the lactation. However, the lactation will focus on difficult cases, will focus in improving the protocols and education and all this stuff. So one of these things is the competencies of the healthcare workers, which is use their communication skills, building confidence to the mothers. The mother should be really strong enough to know her rights and how to support herself. Counsel the pregnant woman in regarding breastfeeding, which is again, if this was done effectively with the educated lactation consultants or midwives and nurses in the hospitals, so the lactation will spend time with difficult cases, and also assess during breastfeeding. Every time we used to get a call from the nurses telling us we have a difficult breastfeeding, and when we go there, sometimes it's a very easy management that a nurse can help or a doctor. Now, I know doctors will be busy with rounds, but at least the basics of handling and teaching the mother verbally and just observe clinically what she's doing in breastfeeding. So the first stage should be directed clinically, again, with the people who are in touch with the mother. Help the mother how to position the baby itself. We used to teach the nurses in the first baby friendly module, and we do the clinical hours, but then they very rare nurses will do it with mothers. Majority will just do the theoretic part and just talking. So it is part of the new baby friendly that nurses will be allowed to teach the mothers and shift the cases which is difficult to us as lactation consultants. Again, explain to the mothers the optimal way of breastfeeding. Help the mothers to express her milk, hand expression, and using the pump after 48 hours if needed. Help the mother to cup feeding. In some hospitals, we had the competency of syringe or cup or spoon or whatever types of alternatives to teach the mother in the hospitals in case if she has to express her milk or give artificial milk temporarily for a medical reason, to avoid using pacifiers and bottles and teats. So these alternatives is a competence in a baby friendly, but now it is a mandate in a competency for every hospital as a baby friendly. Help the mother to initiate breastfeeding after birth, as they again help the mothers to think that if she doesn't have enough milk. Again, we used to say, think of so many mothers in any cultures thinking that the first 3 days I don't get milk or I don't have milk. Well, God and Allah gave you the milk during the past 3 months before delivery, so I don't think He will cut it off after delivery. You have to think this way. But the medicalized system, or let's say the interventions in the hospitals, or the mother's lack of knowledge could interfere with the oxytocin level, or which is a hormone, we call it a love hormone, or the bonding hormone, which allows the milk to be leaking. So if you have any stress during birth or after, you are anxious, you don't know what is going on, or sometimes the baby had some difficulties, your level of stress is high, and you're so anxious, especially for the first time mother, oxytocin level will not really be shooting enough. So then you might think you don't have enough milk. Well, it is already stuck there because you're not relaxed. So the more you're confident in your birth experience, the more you're confident in your life itself and the support you get from husband and family members, the oxytocin will be relaxed and also released, and then you can get your milk. So the nurses should really tell the mothers and assess the mothers. We have few number of mothers who had some medical issues or some hormone problems, or sometimes she had some medication problems during pregnancy that could affect. So this is the nurse's assessment time, and you should be aware that it could really affect your milk or not. But if you're a healthy, normal mother with a healthy, normal pregnancy and baby safe, inshallah, you don't need that, attention if you are able to control your level of anxious. And also, if you need to have to know more about the cries of the baby and why the baby cries and how to soothe the baby, all these should be under the nurses and doctors or healthcare workers or midwife in the hospital. If the baby refuses breastfeeding, if you have flat or inverted nipple, all these cases used to be shifted to lactation. However, we will still do that, but the priority will be to the people who are around. And also if you have engorgement or mastitis. Now I need to understand something. Since I came back from a nursing background and I know the pressure in the hospitals, we are expecting to know this in a baby-friendly hospitals, but again, there's a pressure of nursing the number of nurses in the wards. So again, the baby-friendly hospitals and leaders, they should think of how to maximize or effectively use the number of nurses in each shift to help the mothers, because again, even if you're baby friendly hospitals, you should have a staffing number covers all these scenarios. Again, help the mothers who have cracked nipples or reverted nipples or mastitis, and how to prevent mothers from getting these worst scenarios. And if the baby is having low birth weight or sick, how to help. And also counsel the mother on her health, because every time we concentrate on babies and we forgot to talk about the mother's health and psychological level or wellness or whatever. So nurses and doctors should really emphasize on this. And the last not least is the code monitoring of supplementary, obeying to the code itself and reducing marketing. So this is the core competencies that nurses and doctors, healthcare workers, midwives, and if, I'm not sure about the pharmacies yet and the nutritionists, but anyone dealing with the direct touch with the mother in the maternity sections, baby-friendly hospitals should have these competencies on board. The antenatal classes, as general, we need to inform the mothers about many things, which is your exclusive breastfeeding, your skin to skin, your initiation breastfeeding, rooming in, which is your 10 steps taught to the mothers in during pregnancy, because she needs to know and expect what is going to be done in the baby friendly hospitals. In a hospital which is not baby friendly, you don't expect that. But again, as I said in my earlier live session with my other sister before the session, when you are getting a teaching with by the childbirth educator or doula, they will help you to do a birth plan. And when you do the birth plan, you can at least select the plans that suits the hospital and it's not against the rules or regulations. One advice, please, since again I'm a medical background, be assured that the hospital policies and protocols are here to help you and save you. But again, by the time they are changing their mind to, let's say, a baby friendly or a mother friendly or a holistic way approach, it's not to really put you in a situation that is not support, but you need to obey to their rules because they want to really help you and support you. But feel free, on the other hand, to know your rights, bill of rights of the hospital policies, and discuss with the doctors and gynae doctors when you're pregnant what is able to be done as part of your plan, and that's really help you. So you can at least get the skin to skin contact, you can at least get no bottles or pacifiers, you can at least tell them, I can have my husband to do skin to skin, or grandmother or auntie, I can have someone who bonds with my baby if I'm cesarean for a while, please let me express my milk and give my milk before artificial. So some protocols, could the hospital agree to that, which is not against their protocols if they are not baby friendly. So keep in mind, if they're not baby friendly, try to get some plans that could be addressed to the hospital, and they will not refuse. But if the hospital again was against any plans, which again it's part of their protocol, some hospitals are so strict and really difficult to change. At least, again, 80% of the mothers will have to review that they have the support and initiation and support discussion during pregnancy. Early skin to skin is very important if you're a normal delivery, natural delivery, or spinal C-section, which is a spinal cesarean. All these criteria will have to have early skin to skin for 1 hour, and also breastfeeding as soon as possible within that hour. And this cesarean section with general anesthesia will be allowed as soon as the mother is awake from anesthesia. But even though if you're able to have a healthy baby, inshallah, safe baby, give the skin to skin immediately to one of the family members until you are awake from the hospital sedation. Support breastfeeding is very important, how to initiate and how to do the early breastfeeding contact and how to support the mothers. And it's very important in a baby-friendly hospitals, they will teach you to hand express soon after delivery. The old practice was supposed to be within 6 hours. Hand expression. Now the new revised baby friendly, you should do it within 1 or 2 hours, because if there's a separation between the mother and baby because babies get sick or grunting or any difficulty situation, he's under supervision, or even he might be a premature baby, you need to be able to express your milk, because as I just said, the early stimulation of oxytocin, your hand expression will stimulate your oxytocin, and also the early stimulation of emptying the milk from your breast will give you chances of also milk production later on. But if you fail to do skin to skin, you fail to do early hand expression, or let's say removing the milk, it will delay your milk and you might think, I don't have milk for 3 days. Again, 80% of mothers should know about the early support and hand expression if possible for separations. And no supplement, as I said, no food, no medication, no droppers, except for any medication which is medically indicated. So no herbal treatment, no sugar and water, no date and water. For that, I know for some Muslim parts, the tahniq, I know still tahniq could be and I think that it is approved for some of the Muslim countries, and they follow the Sunnah. You can still do this tahniq, and again, you can do early breastfeeding as soon as that, or before that, whatever you plan. You want to do tahniq as before the baby sucks your breast, or the opposite. But again, it's the early breastfeeding possible as possible. Again, for some countries who don't, let's say, have an early exposure to mother for any difficulties, sometimes we have the wet nursing or a donor mother, which is acceptable in Islam, but both sides should know it, and they should inform both sides of the families and the community. Medically, she could be screened. In other countries, if they have the donor, they don't really put the Islamic rules because they're another culture or another, religion. But again, they have the priority to do the donor milk and then think of the breast milk bank. Again, it's not acceptable in Muslim countries. We know the reasons, and majority of you know, because we don't want to mix of siblings and family members. They should know who is the donor and who is the baby is receiving. So in non-Muslim countries, if the priority, again, direct breast mother, a breast milk mother, or a donor, and the third is a human milk. Why they think this thing are baby friendly, advanced this thinking? Because they don't want the baby to get the chance to have an artificial milk. So if you're able to have a safe, natural breastfeeding through the mother or a donor, again, Muslim countries should have the acceptance approval from the both sides, and also for the medical indications. For non-Muslim countries, again, the third option could be a human milk bank, and then the artificial if you fail for any of these. 80% of the mothers should really know about that they got the support of early contact with early breastfeeding or any options as we discussed. So again, the percentage for all the 10 steps should be 80. So it's not a very simple number. So 80 mothers, let's say you have 10 mothers in this ward or this hospital. Out of this 10 mothers, 8 mothers should say yes of all these 10 steps or whatever questions we ask them. So to pass as a baby friendly. Rooming in, which means that you should allow that the mother and baby together stay together as soon as the baby born until discharge. They stay and sleep together and bonding together for early signs of breastfeeding. Responsive feeding or exclusive breastfeeding and demand feeding for the baby. So you shouldn't count the time. You shouldn't also strict the time to 2 or 3 hours. However, if the baby sleeps more than 3 hours, you wake them up. But if they demand less than that, it is their routine and behavior and cluster feedings during that. So the babies could feed every an hour or 90 minutes or 2, and sometimes he does it 2, sometimes he does it 1, whatever the baby behavior. As long as the latch on and position of the baby is correct, you shouldn't be worried. If the baby asks for breast milk less than an hour or more than 3 hours, then you should be really worried. Because if he sleeps more, you should be waking up. And if he doesn't get enough milk, he will be frequently waking more, less than an hour. Care at discharge, which is your direct breastfeeding. Support community and help community support such as the Breastfeeding Friends, the first breastfeeding support group in the UAE, where I was an active member and a volunteer with them. Alhamdulillah, till now, since 2004 or 5, I'm still volunteering with them. I'm proud to be a part member as a volunteer member with them. So you have so many community support groups in UAE, and also you have to search for your own countries about the community support. 80% of these mothers should tell that I have a support team, a number or a helpline or website or communication with them. What could be the support team people? Could be a healthcare worker, a home visit center. It could be a breastfeeding clinic or a midwife clinic or a lactation consultant. It could be a peer counselor, a mother-to-mother support or helpline number, or a community group or mothers meetings. All these things should be given to the mothers and family before discharge. So when they want to seek help, it's very important. The last but not least is your slide, very important about how frequently you should visit the hospitals as soon after you have safely, inshallah, your baby. All hospitals and some hospitals still they do the practice of after 2 weeks visit or after 1 or 2 month visits for the baby itself, which is very late to manage breastfeeding or any issues that mother could face, and to check if the weight is affected. So according to the baby friendly, it's very important to have within 2 to 4 days after birth, okay, and again in the next week, because you want to make sure that the baby behavior on the breast and the latching is perfect, the milk supply is perfect, and then you can rely that after 2 weeks the mother is confident to do it alone. So within first week you should be visiting a visit at least, and within the second week another visit if needed. And again, it's very important to get the support line. Now social media is everywhere, community support groups is everywhere. So this is my last. I hope it was really clear so far, and I'm ready to handle the questions from some of the ladies.
Jazakallah khairan, Sister Nasreen, for taking out your time and sharing this valuable information with us. May the Almighty bless you for your efforts. Sisters, if you have any questions, inshallah, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can post your questions in the chat box. And sisters who are watching us from YouTube can post their questions in the chat box as well, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan, sisters. Anyone have any questions? If there are any questions, then you can now raise your hand, and then we can even let you ask Sister Nisreen, or you can type it down as well.
Okay, we have a question.
Assalamu alaikum, sister. Yes, but I don't know, are you talking about UAE or outside the country? If in UAE, yes, we can list the number of hospitals which are baby friendly or mother friendly. But you need to get in touch with any one of us, like Aisha, Salma, myself, or seek support from the community support hospitals, community support groups as well. UAE. Yes, as I said, you can get back to us and we can list the numbers, and you can also get in contact with the baby-friendly hospitals, baby support groups, which is mother and baby support groups. Okay. I can list quickly some of the hospitals, but I don't want to miss them live because I don't want to get, people thinking I'm listing few only. So if you want to get private to me, I'll send it back to you. But there are so many government hospitals and few as well private, which is a good thing to handle. In every Emirates, I believe in every Emirates as a government hospital, it should be a baby friendly. Okay, so far. If you're talking about Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, and Ajman, so far, they have baby friendly, okay, as government hospitals. For private, I can send it to you privately as well. But it's very easy if you can ask when you go to the hospitals, you can see the logo of a baby friendly showing in your hospital itself and in the maternity section, and you can feel free to ask. It's a marketing everywhere now to know which hospital is baby friendly. So you can ask the nurses and doctors. This is your right. My baby is 3.5 month old and she is. Okay, for sister Najeen, the baby is almost 3, mashallah, 3.5 months. Okay. And I want to know why is your pumping, is there a reason for pumping? That's number one. If you can do direct breastfeeding, that is the best, but we could really understand some mothers have some challenges with direct breastfeeding. So it is a good thing that you are a great job you're doing, that you're doing pumping. I do understand that's a great job, but I need to know the reason why it is pumping. Now, by 3 months and a half for 3 ml, 100 ml, it could be fine for the baby's age. I don't mind. She can get less or more. Okay, but again, direct breastfeeding will have her give her the chance to boost your breast milk supply because she will be able to empty more. However, the pump will be emptying your storage amount rather than cutting out of the milk amount. So mothers who think that if I use the pump, I will only take that amount and my milk stops. No, your milk still flows continuously and dripping continuously because of the effect of the hormones and your supply demand, and the baby will be getting amount of milk even though if your storage is removed by the pump itself. So if she gives more or less, I don't have any issues as long as the baby is growing well. Sorry to ask, stool and urine is fair enough, so don't worry about this. Try to do also the skin to skin more probably and the continuous direct breastfeeding in between. If you want to get more consultation, you can get back to us privately. I can get details of the scenario as well. Thank you, Sister Aisha. Okay. We would drink more. Okay. She would drink more when she was 2 months now. Well, I don't think it is an issue. I need to make sure that how frequently she does it. Okay. Because 80 to 100, I'm not really quite really getting worried. I need to make sure how is her weight, urine and stool, and why are you pumping? Great. I think you're doing well. Your weight and birth weight, if she's mashallah 7 now, and I assume the birth weight is 3 point something, okay, she's doubling the weight. She's perfect, mashallah. You don't have to worry about whatever she's taking less or more now. But the only thing you just have to observe. If anything weird, you just let me know. That's all. But mashallah, she doubles her weight, which is good. Okay, you're fine, inshallah. Well done for what you're doing. وإياك جزاك الله خيرا أنتم أيضا. Thank you, Najeen. Any other questions? Anything from the YouTube side? You can follow us on I Go Holistic, and I have my personal account, Lamsa Lamsa1, through social media, Instagram and Facebook, and I have my name, Nisreen Nimr, through YouTube as well. And I would like to thank again I Go Holistic team, Aisha, Salma, for hosting this live session on YouTube, and to let the mother knows about the baby friendly, the practices, and how really does it affect your baby feed or natural decision about breastfeeding. And to remind you all, sister, the Breastfeeding Week internationally is during the first week of August, 1st to 7th day, but we still have some activities until next week, so be in touch. And the theme for this year is support breastfeeding for a healthier planet.
Jazakallahu khair, Sister Nasreen. We're very thankful that you have come up between your busy schedule to speak on this subject, which is very important for selecting a baby-friendly hospital. And we hope to have you soon, inshallah, with our future sessions as well, inshallah. Please log on to igoholistic.com if you want to have any session with Dr. Nasreen, and then you can book a coaching session. Either you can book a ready-made package, or you will also be able to have a customized coaching session for your needs, just contact us through igoholistic.com. I will just post the link here, and then you can contact us, inshallah. Okay, so I think we'll close the session right now, and then we'll also post up the recording as well on the YouTube. You can see the recordings, and then please do share our future initiatives. We will also be having our future motherhood webinar sessions as well on August 9th from Ellen Motherhood. So we are doing it together, and Sister Nasreen also will be speaking in Ellen Motherhood on motherhood topics as well. Please do keep in touch with us through the emails, and we'll keep you updated, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Thank you. Barakallahu fikum.